I'm IzDaisho, and I am here bringing you some more Magic 2015. And since the last video, I didn't play any more of the campaign, so I'm still up to Zendikar, I think is the last one. Though I will say that I did play a little bit, and by that I mean take a look at my card collection. Yeah, 72% overall, 100% from Innistrad, 100% from Theros, 100% from Ravnica, and 100% from Chandalar. So, still haven't done any Zendikar. I guess I got some cards in the original boosters. But yeah, so definitely played a little bit since then. And I mean, I changed up my decks. I've been making a whole bunch because I have almost all the cards. So there's tons of decks that you can make. I think what I'm going to go with today, so my black-red control deck got a lot better. Actually, I don't even think I've edited this, so I'm not even going to bother showing it to you. Red-white tokens I haven't bothered to look at. Blue-white tokens is fine. Blue-black control is alright. Blue-green temple is alright. Mono-green's cool. This one looks cool. Blue-red stuff. Green-white tokens actually looks like the best tokens deck. I'm not sure. But I think what we're going to do today is going to play some green-black graveyard. And let's take a look. We'll try and maybe do some spider spawning. So between Ulcerate, which is target creature gets -3/-3 until end of turn, you lose 3 life, and Deadweight, enchanted creature gets -2/-2. I wasn't really sure which route to take, so I kind of did a 2-1 split instead of 3 Ulcerate. So I don't know, maybe one of these is better. And then I guess I only have 1 Tribute to Hunger. Actually, really mixed up the removal in this a lot. I think I have like Preyapons in here. I'm just gonna get rid of these Preyapons and add black removal spells because they're way better. I don't know why I wouldn't play them. Yeah, so we'll add in that one, and then alright, we'll add in one more Deadweight, and we'll also add in a Tribute to Hunger. Alright, anyway, Deadweight -2/-2, this thing -3/-3 at instant speed, except you lose 3 life, so there's definitely a payoff there. Target opponent sacrifices a creature, you gain life equal to that creature's toughness. It's a pretty good removal spell, especially if you're able to keep the board kind of clean, then you can just get their big stuff with this, gain some life, bolster that life total. Anyway, Necromancer's Assistant is one of the more important cards in this deck. I mean, you enters the battlefield, you can put the top 3 cards of your library into your graveyard. You'll see there's a couple of ways that we can use that to help out. Gravedigger, one way. I mean, you can get stuff back from your graveyard. He's usually going to get you value anyway, but it's sometimes useful to put other stuff in the graveyard and just basically have him be 4-mana 2/2 draw card. Shadowborn Demon, if you get enough stuff in your graveyard, then he's very good. I don't know if this deck is actually creature dense enough. You know, only 21 creatures. It's not a bad amount, but you really want to have a whole bunch of creatures and only a couple spells in these kind of decks, but there isn't that much support. So anyway, Rescue from the Underworld. As an additional cost to cast it, sacrifice a creature, and then choose target creature card in your graveyard, return to that card, and the sacrifice card to the battlefield under your control at the beginning of your next end step. So this works extremely well with things that enter the battlefield abilities like Shadowborn Demon. I mean, just imagine playing Shadowborn Demon, and then sacrificing it to Rescue from the Underworld, and then the next turn it comes back and kills another thing. So it's a very, very fun, interesting way to roll. Anyway, there's also this Runescar Demon and Grizzlebrand, and I also tossed in some Elvish Visionaries. Satyr Wayfinder is also not a terrible thing to get rid of and then have come back. Unfortunately, this is the best kind of Reanimator spells. I don't think there's just Reanimate or Animate Dead or anything like that, so you can't build a like dedicated reanimation style deck, but this is pretty much as close as you can get. I think I skipped Flesh to Dust. It's just basically a expensive, clunky removal spell, but you kind of need those sometimes. Runescar Demon, love this card, always have. It's very, very powerful. Just look for whatever card you want, put it in your hand, and he's a 6/6 flyer, so it's pretty close to as good as you can get. And then there's Grizzlebrand, who is a monster, 8 mana. Not really looking to cast this guy. You're mostly looking to dump him in your graveyard somehow, and then reanimate him. It's arguable that this card should not even be in the deck, considering I don't think I have any ways to discard cards. I don't know if there are any ways. There might be some with a card that I haven't unlocked yet. But yeah, I don't think that I actually have any reliable method that I can actually discard cards. The reason why you'd want to do that is because if I only have a 5 mana and if we got a rescue from the underworld, then I want this thing in my graveyard so I can bring it back. Anyway, Elvish Visionary enters battlefield, draw a card, works well with rescue, is just a good thing to have lying around, and is a good thing to do early on. Satyr Wayfinder is very good. Serves dual purpose in that you can get some value out of him. He's a 1/1, and then you can put a random land into your hand, and also he dumps a couple of cards in your graveyard, so very good there. Vengevine, you can take advantage of him. You can play a couple like an Elvish Visionary and a Satyr Wayfinder or something like that. Get some action going that way. And then another 2 cards that really take advantage of the graveyard. Spider Spawning. For each creature you have in the graveyard, you get a 1/2 spider, and it's got flashback, so you can do that twice. And then there's Nemesis Immortals that gets a lot cheaper when you put more stuff in your graveyard. So I think that there actually might be a couple more ways to get some stuff in the graveyard that I haven't unlocked yet. Let's actually just go check for a minute in the car. Don't worry about it. But anyway, that's the deck. It's kind of sweet. I haven't played with it yet, so we'll see if it actually works out. But the cards that I'm playing now are definitely of a higher power level than they were when I started playing the other day, because I unlocked all these cards. But I didn't do Zendikar. I was saving that for this video. So maybe we'll switch every victory, or if I can't win one, switch to a different deck, because there's a lot of fun decks. This does not look like a good matchup. Me against a bunch of goblins. I guess I'd probably rather have like the blue-red deck, maybe. It's got a couple of Anger of the Gods. Even as you hunt Garrick, you know he hunts you. He is not the only danger you face. A band of Zendikaris, toughs. Oh, I read this already. Block your way. They demand your treasure and won't give up without a fight. I like that. It's just, they're not even going to go into specific detail. They're just going to say, you know what? You got some tough guys ahead of you. Oh man, if I were on the draw, I would actually really consider keeping this, because this is a very good hand. I got both colors here. If I can draw one more land, I can get this Satyr Wayfinder online, and then he'll get me my 3rd land, so I can play this Necromancer's Assistant. Gets things rolling, but I'm going to have to go for a new one, because just the 1 land is not really going to cut it. So this is what I'm worried about, the kind of draw that it just doesn't do anything. And I mean, I've got this 1 removal spell, but these 3 cards don't do anything at all. I'm going to go ahead and keep this, but I'm really worried that I'm just going to get run over at the beginning, and it's not going to work out for me. But we'll see what happens. Definitely concerning. Oh, they're green? But it would just be like a mono red goblins deck. So yeah, another spider spawning. Stuff. I was thinking of only including 2, but this card is just so powerful when you get to the late game that it's worth it. And I think that's why there's so much early game removal in this deck, just in case these kind of starts do happen. What is this? Oh, is this allies? Is that what the deal is here? Whenever it or another ally enters the battlefield, you may put a +1/+1 counter on it. Alrighty. So it's a 2-mana 2/2 that has a lot of upside, especially in a deck that is full of allies. Well, I mean, if I have to be drawing cards that aren't named Satyr Wayfinder or Necromancer's Assistant, I want them to be lands. I guess, or removal. But yeah, if he does play another... Actually, I'm probably just going to do this anyway. Yeah, it's not even worth waiting up. With other removal spells, a lot of the time it's worth it just to take 2 damage so that you can actually get an opportunity to see what they're going to play. Maybe they play something better later. But in this situation, since my removal spell is just a sacrifice ability, there's no way that I was able to do anything anyway. So this is actually a great draw for me. Satyr Wayfinder is pretty much the exact card I want to see right here. Alright, so we got 2 creatures to go to the graveyard, get a swamp, which is what I wanted, and I'm going to go ahead and play it. And the reason why I mean, it doesn't really matter since I'm playing against the computer, but generally the reason why I make that play where I hold the land before I play the Satyr Wayfinder is because if I reveal a land and I had already played one, then my opponent knows what I have in my hand. So he basically knows that of my 5 cards, he knows 20% of them, being 1 card. In this situation, my opponent has no idea and has no knowledge of any of the cards because I played the land that I just revealed. So if you're playing against an opponent at a real event, then that makes a lot of sense. Or even in this game. But if you're playing against the computer, it doesn't really matter that much. Alright, what are you? Trample. Same thing, but it's going to start out as a 3/3. Alright, well, I can get my Nemesis Immortals online here. And I can pay 4 mana for this, right? Yeah. So I can still drop this Guild Gate for my 5th land and ship the turn back. I mean, that is part of the awesome thing about this deck, is you can get giant Nemesis Immortals. I mean, this thing's got Monstrosity 5, so it can get up to a 10/10 here. And it's going to cost me 7 mana to do so right now, but I can throw this guy in front of something at some point, or I can just like chump attack or whatever. What is this? Alright, so yeah, they're both going to get a counter here. And they're getting bigger. Cannot kill anything. Well, I'm gonna chump attack in with this Satyr Wayfinder. He's not really doing much on my side of the board. Does this thing have haste? Yeah, okay. He's not really doing anything here for me. And okay, if he were to block with the other one, that would have been a lot better. But getting cards in my graveyard is good, because now I can actually just monstrous this. So and my spider spawnings are gonna be worth more. So yeah, and I don't really care. I guess if I have Rescue from the Underworld, then it gets a lot better for me to keep the Satyr Wayfinder in play, because then I can also reactivate its thing. But yeah, alright, bro. Let's get monstrous up in here. Got myself a nice little 10/10. And there's the 7th land. So I'm going to charge in here. Taking 10 damage is kind of insane, even though my opponent can be playing a really explosive deck. And this is like a Divine Verdict or something, because he does have 5 mana. Alright, so I was thinking of just playing Spider Spawning for 3, but I think I'd rather just go for a Runescarred Demon here. And, oh, yeah, actually that's a mistake. I should have a 1 of Hunter's Prowess or Enlarge in this deck. What do we want to grab here? Might just be like Flesh to Dust, or like Elvish Visionary for value. I don't even know. Maybe just another Nemesis Immortals, Shadowborn Demon, Vengevine. The last Spider Spawning is probably not going to be it. I could get another Deadweight so that I can take something out. I'll get an Ulcerate. Is there an Ulcerate in here somewhere? Or did I draw all of them already? There we go. Yeah, this is what I want to see. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. So yeah, I should be getting Hunter's Prowess, so if I have this exact situation, the next turn I can just play Hunter's Prowess on this, give my guy Trample, and not really give him any opportunity. So he's just going to charge in here. Alright, let's block. If my opponent's using resources to kill this, then that's not a problem. You gain life equal to the number of allies you control. Sure, so this guy's going to get a counter. I hate it when the AI just doesn't even realize interactions that are obvious. So in this situation, obviously you want to play this first main phase. You gain more life, and you get... Ooh. Is that just game? You gain more life, and you just get crazy things. Like, your creatures get bigger, so you deal more damage to me. Like, I don't really get it. But that's alright. Yeah, that was pretty solid. It kind of just put the beat down. Open a nice little Zendikar pack here. Elvish Pioneer. That's interesting. Okay, there's another Kiln Fiend. Could be useful. Giant Scorp. Not really. There's another Triplicate Spirits. I need that for some of the other decks. Glory Seeker. Quest for the Goblin Lord. There's a Planar Cleansing. What does this do? Exile X targets from reach that player. Target cards? Oh. Okay, so it's not like you can get a whole bunch of cards in your graveyard and then kill them with that. You have to do it the other way around. Alright, that's fine. So, Yeah, let's continue. And I think I want to play one more with this deck, and I don't really need to make any changes from those cards. There's definitely some cards that are from that pack that are going to go in some of my other decks, but for now, I'm alright. You showed the Zendikari that you are not easy prey, and they're willing to answer your inquiries. They point you towards a series of narrow canyons that take you to Gul'daz, the lair of Ob Nixilis. But the canyons are home to acrobatic Core, who consider you an enemy. Alright, sure, we'll fight some Core. Core folk. Again, same hand. I would so keep this on the draw, but on the play it's just not worth it. This one's good. So I got Guild Gates so that I'll have double whatever mana. I've got an early removal spell. I have an Elvish Visionary to help me cycle through my deck and get to those Necromancer's Assistants and Satyr Wayfinders to fill up my graveyard. There we go. That's a good draw. And I'm going to just drop this Elvish Visionary here. It's not real. It doesn't really make any sense to slow down my curve by getting the Guild Gate out there, because I don't know. I mean, I drew the Gravedigger, but I don't know if I'm going to have 4 drops, so I may as well wait on it if I have something good to do with my mana. Other core creatures you control get +2/+2 for each equipment. Oh, I should kill that thing. Sounds like a good plan. Though for now, I think I can kind of ignore it. Just play on curve. Next turn it might be like a Guildgate Deadweight turn. Ooh, there's Grizzlebrand in the graveyard. Nemesis Immortals 2. That's not bad. I just need to draw a Rescue from the Underworld, and this is looking pretty solid. I mean, Grizzlebrand is such a ridiculously powerful card. The ability to just pay that to just draw that many cards at instant speed without paying any mana, it's just kind of unmatched. Alright, so you got another one of those bros. Could get Nemesis Immortals back, that's not great. Yeah, we'll attack. I definitely want to see a trade here. If not, I'm willing to trade 3 damage for 2 because I am going to just deadweight and kill one of these guys. Even though, yeah, I mean, I guess they work well together because they're both core, right? Core soldiers, yep. There's a kite sail, so he's going to be able to fly on over. But not this. Oh, core outfitter, brutal. I like that card. And yeah, since I was able to play the Guildgate last turn, I should easily be able to just take that thing out with a Flesh to Dust. And since I kind of want my creatures in the graveyard, I'm just going to trick the computer, because the AI is actually really stupid, so it won't recognize that I clearly have a removal spell. So if, like, okay, so the thing is, it probably wouldn't make the trade if they knew that this was just a 2/2, and they know that I wouldn't attack, because it doesn't really make much sense. I'd rather, they'd rather not trade and send my creatures to the graveyard. They'd rather just take the damage and keep their creatures alive. But it doesn't really just, like, understand that I'm just going to kill this thing, and then this thing's going to lose its bonus. It's just like, okay, well, it was a bad attack. I know, I'll just deal with it. But, yeah, whatever. Not really anything to do about it. And the sad part is that this is like Planeswalker difficulty. It's actually just the hardest thing that this game has to offer. What is this? Okay. So you got yourself a 3/3. Satyr Wayfinder. Alright. Man, I kind of want to just... Well, alright, let's Satyr Wayfinder here and see what happens. Because if we get a ton of things in the graveyard, then we can probably just Gravedigger here. No lands, and only 1 creature. That is less than ideal. That was actually just a really bad Satyr Wayfinder. Alright, so I think I'm going to have 4 creatures in my graveyard. Yeah, so if I get this thing back, then it'll cost 3. Maybe I just get back the Necromancer's Assistant to make my spider spawning better. Nah, I think that this Nemesis Immortals will actually just win me the game, so I don't even need to worry about, yes please. I don't need to worry about dirtling around or anything, so we'll see what my opponent does. I suspect that he's going to attack and play another creature that I won't really be able to get through. It might be play something that's like a 2/2 or whatever, and my Gravedigger can attack past, but I mean, I'm still at a healthy life total at 17 and about to be 14. I got this spider spawning so I can buy myself a lot of time down the road. Core Hookmaster, yeah, that's kind of what I was expecting. What? That I was not expecting. I don't know why he wouldn't just do that, but yeah, I'll definitely attack here because I'd be pretty psyched to trade, and if not, then I get in free damage essentially because I'm going to be playing this Nemesis Immortal, so nothing's going to be able to attack on the ground anyway. And I mean, I could have attacked with the Elvish Visionary just to get it in the graveyard because, let's see, it would have cost me 1 less mana to play it, so it would have cost me just 2 to play. Because we had a 4 discount, and then 4 discount, so it's going to be 5 to monster, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I actually would have been able to play and monstrous it this turn. So that was, in hindsight, probably a mistake. I probably should have just charged in there and lost the Elvish Visionary, but just putting that on there, that seems like the wrong play. Alright. This turn, I can probably just attack with everything. Yeah, I'll play the Satyr Wayfinder pre-combat. And this time again we miss. This time these things are bad. So yeah, I mean that's why you want to have more creatures than removal in these kind of decks, and I know that that's definitely an issue with it. So maybe at some point I will revisit trying to put more creatures in here. So yeah, I think we've got 3 creatures in here right now, which is not a very impressive spider spawning, but I'll just attack with everything here. Hopefully he'll just block these 2 things, take 12. No, he's just going to block there. Alright, well, if that's the case, then I think I'm just going to not worry about monstrosing this just yet and make 4 spiders. 5 mana for 4 power and 8 toughness. That can block flyers. That works for me. He's only got 1 card in hand. He's only got no cards in hand. He's dead. No, he's not quite dead. He's just basically got to chump block the Nemesis, and unfortunately, oh, all right, can't kill that. Unfortunately, I kind of have to monstrous this. I could just ulcerate instead, and then I still get to play spider spawning, flash it back, but it's not really worth it. Just monstrous a snake, ship the turn back, and pretty much unstoppable at this point. I guess he could have like a mass removal spell, but even then I have another spider spawning in the graveyard, and then the next one's going to be for something like 8 if you kill all my creatures. So yeah, that was kind of a beatdown. Even at the beginning it didn't look great, but it really worked out. It just got a lot of value out of the graveyard stuff. New booster unlocked. Oh yeah, there's also a card called Treasure Find, which is green and black, and you can just get a card from your graveyard and put in your hand. And they suggested that I put a lot of those in the deck. Not really sure how much I like that kind of card in this kind of deck. It ends up being like a tutor, so you can just basically get whatever you want, but it's not necessarily worth it. There's another Triplicate Spirits. Ooh, Banisher Priest is in this game. So it's a pretty good creature, and Beastmaster Ascension is a nice way to take advantage of some tokens, but yeah, some of these cards might be going in some of the other decks. So let's just head to the deck manager. I don't think I actually can manage my other decks this way. Let's see. Did we get anything for this deck? I don't think so. Yeah, there's a reasonable chance that this deck should have an overhaul and drop some of that removal, put in some more creatures. but for now, I don't think we're really going to worry about that. Do kind of want to find space for... Yeah, I'm just going to put this Elvish Visionary in instead of like the second Deadweight. Oh, I wanted to put a Hunter's Prowess in here somewhere. Honestly, like cutting the Grizzlebrand in one of the rescues is probably a good idea. Maybe not. Whatever. It's not that important to have that. This deck is not very like mana intensive, or like different colored mana intensive. So that's kind of nice. You can usually cast your spells when you want to. I guess I don't really need 3 Flesh to Dusts. Yeah. Alright, that's good, because I'm cutting another spell for a spell, which is much better than cutting a creature for a spell when I don't really want to have creatures. Or when I want to add more creatures. Or maybe I just do Enlarge. Because if I'm tutoring it up, then this is way better. But if I'm just casting it, then Hunter's Prowess is way better. I don't know, it's a tough decision. But whatever. Yeah, so we should be done with this deck for now. As fun as it is, I don't want to get too boring or anything, especially because there's so many different options. So let's go blue-red this time. But yeah, let's just call this a video, and then I'll come back with blue-red and hopefully win the next 2 or 3 or whatever. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Have a wonderful day. Bye.